Hello, and welcome to Close the Door and Come Here, a Song of Ice and Fire podcast with heavy leanings toward our two favorite characters, Jaime and Brienne.
There was a bear, all black and brown and covered in hair. From there to here, from here to there, the maiden fair.
Hi, I am Chicky. I am Chicky on Blue Sky, and today I'm joined by Clotho.
Hi, I'm Clotho, and you can find me at Clotho Spindle on Blue Sky Social.
And Devin.
Hi, I'm Devin. You can find me at GD Harpo on Blue Sky.
And today we are discussing Davos's first chapter in A Dance with Dragons. Gotta say, I'm never mad to get into a Davos chapter. I'll be really honest. Even if I might think it's a little bit of bloat, I'm happy to be in Davos's head every minute that I'm in Davos's head. Never sad to be here. Just want to go ahead and I know we've been having some complaints about dance, but hey, it'd be worse. So Davos, but here's the funny thing, you guys. I was thinking as I was reading this, how many of Davos's chapters order with him being a prisoner of somebody new?
Oh,
Like,
right.
That's what it's been for so long now. Like, oh my gosh.
I was
He is
having
captive
deja vu.
every time we talk to him.
Every damn time that we start a Davos chapter, he's someone's fucking captive. And this time he's captive of some, I don't know, random, like very petty lord, it seems to me. Of the Lord of Sweet Sister, yes, one of the sister islands. I don't know. There's some sister islands that are apparently currently part of the Vale, but have at times been conquered by the North and ruled by the Starks, which they didn't like apparently. So Davos is being taken into this lord's castle, which sounds actually sounds kind of cool because it seems to be like right on the water, and there's like crashing water, like waves happening underneath the floor of like this guy's, like, I don't know, his main like throne room or whatever it is, which did sound kind of cool and gloomy and interesting to me. But we kind of get Davos going through a backstory in his head of what's happened since I can't remember. I think the last time we saw Davos, he was on Dragonstone, right? Because it was before they set off for the north. And we just get kind of like side story since we kind of picked Davos up in Jon and Sam's chapters at the Wall. I think we knew that Davos was sent off from Eastwatch after Stannis and crew arrived there. So this is the first time. I'm right? Am I? I think I remember.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, because the last thing was him when he the letter. It had something to do with Master Paulos in the letter. Yeah. Reading it too.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, so we haven't seen Davos for a while, and so we kind of get the backstory that he gets sent off on basically a mission with Salladhor Saan, who of course has basically basically Salladhor Saan's pirate ships are all that remains of Stannis' fleet, and they encounter, I assume this is the terrible weather that Sam and Gilly and Aemon hit on their trip over to Braavos. I think it's the same storm, probably, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not. I don't know. They've had terrible weather. Salladhor Saan loses like half of his fleet, and he is like, I'm fucking out. He's done. He's had it with Stannis. He hasn't gotten paid for anything. And they were barely hanging on to Salladhor Saan like two like books ago. So I'm not surprised that there was this problem. So Salladhor Saan just kind of like sends Davos out in like a lifeboat when they're sailing by these islands, and he's like, well, I don't hate you. You were my friend, so I will let you try to have a chance to live, and basically just lets him go ashore on this Sweet Sister, whatever island. So we see Davos going into the Lord Godric Borrell of Borrell something of this island. And he's been caught in a tavern trying to just basically convince someone to take him to White Harbor, which is where he needs to go. And he had with him his little ribbon that, basically declares him without words to be Stannis' hand. So this guy is like, okay, well, clearly I know who you are. You're the Onion Knight. And he makes him take off his glove, though, to prove that it's actually him and not somebody impersonating him, which I kind of love this, that, little lack of fingers is an identity card in Westeros. So we get some more discussion here. Davos is finding out for the first time that Tywin is dead, which is a fun thing to learn. I'm never sad to hear it from anybody, actually, when they want to talk about it. So you see Davos just kind of like trying to like figure out what's going to happen here, because obviously, since these guys are loyal to... he also finds out that Lysa Arryn is dead, because he's like, if you're really part of the Vale, then just send me to Lysa Arryn, because he thinks he has a chance with her, since Robb Stark was her nephew, but now she's dead and Littlefinger's in charge, and obviously he knows enough to be worried about that.
I was just gonna say, that's one of the fun things about these chapters, and just when everybody gets so spread out, the way news travels, and how we have characters where we as the reader know all these different things have happened, but like when the characters find out and getting their reactions and how it can work for them, work against them, all those different things. So that's always really fun throughout these chapters.
Yeah, I agree. That is one of the most interesting things, to see different people hear stuff that you already know and that that they don't know yet. I love that George includes it. He doesn't always have to, but I mean, of all the things that he includes, it's one of the things I appreciate, I guess. So we get some of that, and you see Davos just trying to figure out how to get through this situation, because obviously, technically, this island is loyal to, King's Landing through the Vale, and he finds out that Cersei's running the show there, and he's like, okay, so this guy's trying to decide if he's gonna, let me go, or help me out, or turn me over to Cersei, and he's kind of trying to judge how to deal with this. He also hears, and this is also fun, he hears that the Freys have been through on a ship on their way to White Harbor to take Wyman Manderley's son's bones to him. And he hears, because the Freys have said so to this Lord Borrell, that the Manderleys are going to be swearing fealty to King's Landing and to Tommen. Obviously, we all maybe know more about that, having already read this book, but so Davos as always is kind of behind the eight ball and trying to play catch up and put a mess back together. What I love here is that it's yet another case of Davos trying to like sell someone on Stannis.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like basically Davos's best. I don't know. I'm not going to say he's obviously a good sailor and stuff too, but he's just like so good at like evangelizing for Stannis. So much better than Stannis himself. And this is a good moment of that. Also, I want to just take a moment to also give a nod before I move through this too fast. Davos gets offered this stew. What is it? The sister stew?
Oh, yeah. They talk about this a lot.
A local delicacy. And this is just, we have to nod at George's favorite thing, which is his food porn that he works in. This sounds like some kind of chowder, some kind of like crab chowder or something.
The way Davos talked about it immediately warming his body, I actually wanted some.
Yeah, I did too. It sounded good. I was reading this, and like obviously we're supposed to catch from it that like he's been using saffron in it and stuff, and that's because this lord is like apparently half smuggler. People used to be pirates, and yada yada yada. They basically wrecked the ship full of spices. I should mention this ship is the Slow-Eyed Maid, which Dany could have taken out of Karth, I think it was. I had to Google it because, but again, who can keep track of this shit from 25 years ago? But anyway, so we find out that if Dany had taken that ship, she would have ended up wrecked, I guess, on this island. I guess what the story is there.
Yeah, because they mentioned that they stay, like the people go out in the dark and move lights in such a way, like they move them around to basically, I guess, like if you're a lighthouse, a beacon, like they move it in a way that they entice the ships to actually go and wreck. So it's like they're tracking. So it's almost like they're a sort of a light. They're like a what is that? The Greyjoy light or something? You know what I mean? They're doing dastardly things. But they're not.
I was
it's
like,
called being
they've
wreckers.
got themselves a pretty good system.
Yeah, it's called being a wrecker, and it's something that in Europe and
Oh, wow.
at least North America used to be a thing that people would
Oh,
do
wow. I didn't
to deliberately
I didn't
crash
know that. Wow.
ships.
I didn't know
They would deliberately cause them to crash on rocks, and then everybody would run out and grab the stuff that washed ashore from the ships. This is a thing. So yeah,
And
I
saffron's
love.
so expensive. It's expensive in our world. It's expensive
I was
in
gonna
their
say,
world.
it
As you were
has
saying,
never
I was like,
stopped.
saffron is expensive. You see a
It
little
never
tiny bit of
stopped being expensive. Yeah.
effort in medieval times.
So anyway, yes, obviously he's enjoying this stew, and we get this little backstory of ships not taken, but roads not taken by Dany. Anyway, also, should work into this guy offers to have Davos marry his granddaughter before he finds out Davos is married. She's apparently the one cooking the stew. So we find out about the phrase, and then it's just, Stannis trying to sell this guy, or sorry, Davos trying to sell this guy on Stannis. And we kind of get this guy another thing I have to mention, because I can't move through this without talking about it. Did you guys catch the thing about him having a webbed hand?
Oh, yes.
Webbed fingers?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like,
we got a question on this.
oh, did we really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Good.
Let's hear it.
So, Buck O'Hare on Discord, what do you make of webbed fingers in Sweet Sister? Incest or squishers?
Oh, squisher.
I honestly, the first thing I thought was the squishers. I was like, oh, Nimble Dick would love this. We've got a squisher. But then I was like, is this a merman thing? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, God.
Because it's not just Lord Borrell. His granddaughter comes out and she's got the webbed fingers too. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Definitely probably some incest, I'm sure.
Yeah, when I read the question, I was like, oh, yeah, that's probably what it is. Unfortunately.
I was like, where are we going with this, George?
It's like X-Files.
Yeah, exactly. It is exactly like an X-Files thing. So anyway, this guy starts talking about this little incident that happened during Robert's Rebellion, when apparently Ned washes up on the shores of this island when he was trying to cross to get to the north. And he was on I don't think the boat wrecked, but like the fisherman who was taking him across died, and the fisherman's daughter has to bring Ned to this island. And this guy's father had to make the same decision that he's making of, do I turn Ned over to Aerys, who is his rightful king, to be executed, or do I let him go north and continue the rebellion? And that was kind of an interesting little thing to work in. And then also, this guy drops that apparently this fisherman's daughter is supposed to be Jon Snow's mother, which I think this is just George trying to re-drum up interest in who Jon's mother might be. There are a few drops throughout this book of things like this, and I'm like, I think this is just to remind you that we don't know who Jon's mother is, and to make us want to know again.
And that was actually the second part to Buck O'Hare's question, is how many stories do you think are in Westeros about Jon Snow's parentage?
Well, we have. So when is it that Ned? Is it in Storm that Ned Dane tells Arya the story about Ashara?
About Ashara?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's in Storm of Swords. And isn't there another one? I think there's. I feel like
there's at least 3. Yeah. This one, that one, and then there's another that I can't remember.
Yeah,
but I can't
remember. I think there are 3, and then I think there's something that Jon talks about in a Game of Thrones, some offhanded thing that he thought who it might have been. But yeah.
And if there's 3, there's 300.
Of course. Yeah, I'm sure every like area that Ned ever went around that time probably has a story about who the mother of Jon Snow actually is. And it was kind of a fun little thing, but also it kind of works into how this guy's father let Ned go. And so Davos kind of works into, you let Ned go, your dad let Ned go, and you could let me go, and everything will be, A-okay. And so obviously that's the minor cliffhanger that we're left on, and we can all assume that Davos is going to continue on his journey. So, I mean, could this chapter have been an email? Yes. I'm never mad because it's Davos, and I love being at Davos' head.
Yeah, and it was relatively short as well.
It was.
I did appreciate that amongst reading the others we did for this week.
Oh my God, yeah. We're in the middle of a 4-episode recording day, and I think we've got a John ahead of us, and the others have all been long and dense. Okay, so do we have any other mail for this one?
So yes, we do have a couple pieces of mail. So from Buck O'Hare, I already did the episode specific, but here are a couple general comments. So from a long jumping Kale 6071 on Reddit, what was your first impression of Jaime Brienne in the books and or show? I only read the books, but back in 2017, I was 14 back then. I saw the bathtub scene on YouTube and thought to myself, who is this hobo-looking rat man? And is this other person a gal or a guy? They're probably not important. And now they're my favorites. Laughing my ass off. They go on to say, I also thought Cersei, Lena, looked extremely gorgeous. And to me, she was the prettiest woman I've ever seen. What in Jaime possessed me? I absolutely adore your podcast. I've been listening to it since February. Thank you so much for your hard work. You guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you. Okay, well, Devin, what was your first experience of Jaime and Brienne?
That's what I'm trying to remember. Yeah, let me keep thinking. Y'all go, because I'm trying to remember what was my first real impression of them. What did I really first think?
Okay, Calissa, what about you?
I read the books first. Wait, yeah, I know the book, hearing about the TV show and how people said it was depressing, I was like, oh, I want to watch this. So I quickly read the book. I think this is the sequence of events. So I think I read the books first, and then, but I was quickly like, oh my god, sucked in to kind of the chemistry going on. So I'm trying to think oh my god, I just love the Lannisters, and Jaime was part of that. Just how funny they are, and that kind of it was just a whirlwind of sucking me in immediately, and that was I just felt like I instantly was like, okay, this is the ship I love. It was so quick. So quick.
Yeah, we've kind of been asked versions of this over the years, and I can't remember, because I read these stupid books the first time right after Feast came out, which I think I've established was 2006, or right before Feast came out. I read the first three, and then I had to wait a couple weeks, and then Feast came out, and I got it and read it. So yeah, 2006 I think is when I read it, and I don't think I think it took me into Storm. I just can't remember well enough. It took me into Storm before I was like, oh shit, is this going somewhere? And then it's George does such a good job of convincing you maybe it isn't, that you're just kind of like, no, is it? No. And so I definitely dug it. And then when I got Feast, I went feral. Obviously, you get to the bitch slap and stuff, and you're like, oh my God, I shit the crap out of this. But I think I probably wasn't clocking them until A Storm of Swords the first time, probably about half, probably somewhere around the bear pit. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I know I wasn't clocking it until a couple of rereads of those first few books in, and when I started to first kind of get into fandom. But I think my first impression of them, I think it would have had to have been asking the question wait, why are these two getting paired up here? and that I think that's kind of what it was at that point. So yeah,
it's, I mean, obviously if you get some show content and some show gifts and stuff, it's probably a lot easier to understand it than just kind of wading through the books, which the rest of us did, which we did, and so it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on without some visual clues,
right? Because I think that would have been I don't even remember when I first started going on Tumblr, because it would have been, gosh, I think it was probably when they first were talking about casting.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't until this is an old story, but I thought Brienne was dead. I read Feast, and I thought she definitely died at the end, and I thought what I saw in Jaime's dance chapter was undead Brienne. I thought that she had been made into a zombie, just like Stoneheart. That's what I thought had happened because of the way that Jaime described her in Dance. I thought, oh, she's undead, okay. And I thought that until right before season 3, when the spoilers started coming out, and I got so excited that they were actually going to treat it like a romance because of just reading just the books. I wasn't sure, and when I got into fandom, people are all like, "Oh yeah, she said sword. That's the word that she said, that she screamed was sword, and she's alive." And I was like, I had thought she was undead until that point for years. So anyway, or for at least, I guess it'd been, I think 2013 is when I got into fandom, and I read Dance and basically just shoved Jaime and Brienne out of my mind because I thought she was undead in it. So anyway.
Wow. Yeah, that's like it's kind of nice that you had so much time to process it all, because I feel like it was just such a whirlwind with like, oh, now I want to see what the show's going to show me, so that's cool that you had time to like go through all
Well,
that.
it was kind of
Yeah.
with trepidation. I had seen something about, I'd seen something about the casting of Brienne, and then I saw some like stills or something, and I was like,
Right.
oh, are they actually going to do Jaime and Brienne? Like they're actually going to do it? And this is, I had the same experience when they were doing the Good Omens show, and I was like, oh, you mean they're actually going to make it a romance? The romance that I felt like it was in the books, and that was the same thing I felt.
That's right.
When I saw those stills of Jaime and Brienne, I just got a vibe. I was like, oh, maybe they're going there, and then I got into fandom.
Yeah, and I recently did a watch because my daughter now got into, she's a Jaime and Brienne shipper now, and this was relatively last few months, and like, so we did a rewatch together, and it's interesting because how horrible, like it's just how awfully, I don't even think we watched that. I think she knew how horribly it ended, so I can't even remember. I don't think we got to the part where he left her, but we were like, because she
Good.
totally delved in and all the different things, but it was just interesting to rewatch it with her and to see her through her eyes, how she's sort of, and it was all the same stuff. Like, it's funny because like it's cool because it was seeing her come to all the realizations that we had independently. She was like, yeah. And this was before, I don't even know if I have to ask her if she's finished she was trying to read through the books, but she stopped. And I don't know if she read all the Jaime and Brienne chapters at least, but she was like, looking up all the summaries and like looking up people's things on Tumblr and looking up things in the Jaime. She got to the subreddit on her own, and she saw like Giles like suggestions for things on her own. I know, it's so cute because I was like, this is what
I love it. I love it, but I'm also terrified.
So it's kind of cool because it refreshed it. So it is nice to like hear like the new listeners then asking us this, because you periodically have to think back to how fresh it felt when we saw this, and how
I was years ago.
Right. And I remember saying to her, I can't believe we got the bear pit. Like, I can't fucking believe they did that.
Yeah,
like
I can't
all the stuff
either.
that they gave us, as much as they fucked it up, I can't believe we got so much of what they didn't fuck up.
I think through season 3 they were on autopilot, and they were just kind of
that was
regurgitating the books. Yeah.
We lucked out.
Really, we did luck out that they were still, or otherwise I think they probably wouldn't have done it, honestly, if they were doing it over.
Right.
So yeah, that was pretty lucky. Sorry, Devin, is there any other mail?
That is all the mail we have.
Okay, well, guys, we love to get mail from you. You can always email us with actual email, which is closethedoorend@gmail.com. You can also send us anonymous messages. You don't have to be logged into Tumblr to do it. You just go to or closethedoorandcomehere.tumblr.com. You can send us an anonymous message, or you can be logged into Tumblr if you want. Also, you can hit us up on the Jaime Brienne subreddit, which is reddit.com/r/Jaime Brienne. You can also hit us on Blue Sky, where I'm going to just mangle this the way that we always do. What is it, Close the Door End, or is it Close the Door? Yeah, one of those. I don't know. One of those. We're on Blue Sky. And as always, we're very, very grateful to our patrons who keep the lights on Patreon. And on Patreon, we are Close the Door. And if there's nothing else to add to this fabulous chapter, I am closing the door. Get out.